Yo, 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 good morning. We got a fight November 14th. Terence Crawford versus Special K Kell Brook. It's gonna be good. Now, Bud just sat down with Kevin Ioli. He had did an interview with Yahoo Sports. I had actually watched the interview and had took all my notes and all that stuff like the first day, but I was kind of busy the past couple days. So, and I'm pretty sure all of us have been because of this election and everything. Everyone out there stay safe, obviously. But with that being said, that's why I'm coming to you guys kind of a little bit late with this, but I got some more stuff in store for you guys, so be on the lookout for it real soon. But this interview starts off with Kevin Ioli beginning his introduction by stating Terence Crawford is transcending the pound for pound list and is starting to get into the conversation as one of the greatest welterweights of all time. My opinion, I'm like, shit, about time people starting to talk about that. You know what I mean? Crawford says it's all an opinion. Um, um, it's all an opinion. He believes, obviously, that he's one of the greats to ever do it. But the way people question his resume and the way some people don't question his resume, you know what I mean? It's all subjective in his eyes, you know what I mean? In my eyes, I believe you can make that argument. But what do you think? What do you think of Terence Crawford so far? In my eyes, he's definitely already a legend already. You know what I mean? He just made it to welterweight, but he already had a career before welterweight if you really know what Terence Crawford had done so far. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. He asked Crawford if Crawford believes Kell Brook is the same fighter since losing to Triple G and Earl Spence. Crawford says he doesn't know. He will have to see, but believes Kell Brook should be better since he rushed into a fight with Spence months after losing to Triple G and didn't have the necessary time to heal. He believes Kell Brook took the necessary time to heal up, and that's why he has the success that he has to be successful on his return with wait sorry sorry, he believes Kell Brook took the necessary time to heal up, and that's why he was successful on his return with 2 KOs. If I'm not mistaken, I think Kell Brook did return and he had 2 fights, and I think he did stop both fighters. But I know he stopped one of the fighters. I'm not sure if he had two, but I think that's what they said. He had 2 fights and he had 2 KOs. So he believes Kell Brook should be a better fighter than the one Spence fight. In my opinion, that's hard to really say. You know what I mean? Yeah, Kell Brook kind of rushed into the Spence fight, but at the same time, he moved up for the Triple G fight, and he felt like more comfortable at welterweight. Kind of the same excuse that Amir Khan used for Terence Crawford. Oh, I'm more comfortable at welterweight, whatever. I never lost, so boom, that's why we're fighting here. I feel like that's the mindset Kell Brook had. He's like, okay, I lost to Triple G, but it's because I was at a heavier weight, which is it's his fault. No one told him to go up there and get ranked in a higher weight class, but. I think his judgment was a little bit clouded because he thought it was just a normal welterweight. He didn't know he was gonna be in there with a monster like Earl Spence. It was a tight ass fight, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I would expect Special K to be a better Kell Brook than ever. I see he hooked up with Crunk Jim. He obviously he obviously seen his flaws. You know what I mean? He had to watch the Triple G and Earl Spence fight over and over again. The problem with Special K in my eyes is that he can box and he has grit too. But the problem is if he watch back that footage, the thing that should be coming to his head is I shouldn't be getting into these brawl barn burner fights with these top fighters, because when he did that with Triple G, yeah, he had a hell of success, but it broke his face by doing that. And he did that with Earl Spence. Yeah, he did a hell of a job, but Earl Spence broke his other side of his face. So it's just like I don't think that it's smart for him to come in there and try to walk Terence Crawford down and try to brawl him, whatever. I don't know. But in my eyes, I don't know if he's going to be a smarter, better fighter. But in Crawford's eyes, he should be a better fighter. I only gives Kell Brook credit for taking the belt from Sean Porter, fighting Triple G, then fighting Spence, and now fighting Terence Crawford. Crawford agrees and states he isn't a pushover. He said a lot of people didn't expect Kell to give those guys the fight he gave them. He said he never got an opportunity to score the Triple G and Kell Brook fight or the Spence and Kell Brook fight, but heard people had Kell Brook winning in both fights before getting his face broke. Yeah, a lot of people did have Kell Brook winning in both those fights, but again, he fought those fights wrong. and I think he understands he fought those fights wrong. You know what I mean? It's hard to say how he could have fought that Triple G fight because Triple G was a natural bigger man, but at the same time though, he had hella success on Triple G. If you got success on a man in the ring, then all you got to do is show that you have footwork, and that should win you the match for real. If you can land whenever you want, if you're defensively sound and you got good feet, then it should be a no-brainer on how to control the fight after that. But yeah, Kell Brook he got goaded in, and it was his demise. Iola asked if Bud is motivated by all the other stars, Inoue, Teofimo, Fury, etc. on Top Rank to remind the world that he runs Top Rank. Bud says, not at all. His place in the sport is already cemented. He doesn't compare himself to others. He just congratulates them. But he knows it's his job to put on a great performance every time out, and that's what he intends to do. Sounds good though, you know what I mean? Because Bud, he never was that type of person to pocket watch or watch the next man and compare himself to the next man. So I'm glad he's not starting to do that now. It's good that he's staying on his own path, his own journey. He understands where he's going to be at in the future. I only asked Crawford what's it going to take to beat Brook. Crawford says just to simply be himself and don't get caught up in Brook's tricks and games he played. He says to just be natural and let everything flow. So that sounds good to me. It sounds like he understood his mistakes early on against Mean Machine. How he came in there and he wasn't being himself the first couple rounds, if you will. Yeah, he is filling him out, but he wasn't being himself the first couple rounds. You know what I mean? So Crawford's pretty much saying there's no time to play around in there. You know what I mean, with Kell Brook. I gotta go in there and I gotta literally be me, like how he's always been. You know what I mean? So that's exciting because I don't want to see him taking Kell Brook lightly at all because there's no reason to get hit with unnecessary 1-2s. This man, he's dangerous, so it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I only asked if Brook tries to make it a physical fight and tries to big man or bully Crawford, how will Crawford respond? Crawford says he can try. He might be able to since he's been up to 160 and he's the natural bigger guy, but stronger. We don't know until we step foot in the ring. He says one thing he knows for sure is Brook will be surprised when he get in the ring with Crawford. That sounds good. Crawford, he's not worried about being the bigger guy, but he's saying being the stronger guy, we're definitely going to have to see about that. And we know that Crawford, he likes to have those eye for an eye matches, mano matches, like whatever his opponent says they're better than him at, he usually like to showcase it in that match, you know what I mean? Hence why the Mean Machine won, like he wanted to pretty much sit there and fight Mean Machine. It's just like that with all of his performances so far at welterweight. Crawford, he likes to do the mano y mano, you know what I mean? So if Brook tries to big man him, tries to be stronger than him, kind of like how Jeff Warren was, we should be looking forward to seeing Crawford possibly throwing Kell Brook around the ring, because too many clinches and stuff like that, kind of how it was with Jeff Warren, possibly. But we shall see November 14th. I only asked Bud to explain why he didn't want the Spence fight as Spence's first fight back. Bud says, first off, he respects Spence as a champion and wouldn't want to fight him, period, if he isn't at his best. Given this severity of the car accident, he didn't think it would be cool to fight him as his first fight back, knowing if he beat Spence, that would be the number one excuse for Bud's success. He didn't want any excuses when he fights Spence. He wants it as a number one versus number two, both at their very best, 100% ready to go, no injuries, and nobody at their lowest point, and may the better man win. He believes obviously it's him who's the better man who win, but he sees that fight as the best versus the best. This is pretty much the final fight in welterweights against, with the top welterweights. Like this is the last fight between the top welterweights. It's Terence Crawford and Earl Spence, and they both see it similarly. You know what I mean? Because Spence in his interview with Brian Custer, he said that he's been saying this. He's been saying this for a while. After the Danny fight, which he's not overlooking, he wants the Pacquiao fight. And if he can't get the Pacquiao fight, or if he get the Pacquiao fight after the Pacquiao fight, or whatever, he'll take Terence Crawford. So if he can't get the Pacquiao fight, he'll take Terence Crawford. If he gets the Pacquiao fight after the Pacquiao fight, then he'll get Terence Crawford. And they both have the same similar ideas, pretty much. Because I only asked, well, let's get right. Let's just continue on. I only asked, what does Bud think of Spence versus Garcia? Bud says he favors Spence, but he favors Spence to get through Garcia, but doesn't see it as a walk in the park by any means. Danny is a tremendous talent. He is strong and durable, and he can punch and he can box. He says it's going to be interesting how Spence takes Garcia's punches compared to Sean Porter's punches. He believes Danny punch harder than Sean Porter, and wonders if Danny Garcia pushes the pace, can Spence take those heavy punches, because they're not going to be the same punches as Sean Porter's. If he can land on Spence, and that's the key word, if Danny can actually land on Spence, because Spence got great defense. I only asked if Spence gets past Garcia, would Crawford want the Spence fight next? Crawford says if the Pacquiao fight isn't available, then sure, but the Pacquiao fight is out there and in the works, but understand that Pacquiao is a legend, so if the Pacquiao fight isn't there, then yes, Spence fight next. And that's exactly what pretty much Spence said. He said, like, after Danny Garcia, if the Pacquiao fight's not there, then sure, I'll take the Pacquiao fight. What both of them is not saying is that Sean Porter's the mandatory. Sean Porter's the mandatory for the WBO and I think the WBC. I want to say WBC, but I'm almost sure it's IBF. It's one of Spence's belts, though. You know what I mean? He just became mandatory. So yeah, like you can get like these two get past each other and they're looking for Pacquiao. 9 times out of 10, Sean Porter's gonna throw a wrench in one of their game plans, fight them while the other person tries to fight Pacquiao. And then probably do a whole reverse. Like after a couple months, the next person probably fights Sean Porter and the other person goes for Pacquiao. And then we might see the Earl Spence and Terence Crawford fight if all of them is successful, and if both of them is successful in all of those fights coming up, I guess. But I see Sean Porter as the wrench in both of their plans, pretty much. You know what I mean? Pacquiao, he's there, but at the same time, Sean Porter is mandatory, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. I only asked, why do Crawford want Pacquiao fight when Pacquiao is pretty much an old man? Crawford says that doesn't matter. He beat Adrian Broner and Keith Thurman, and that man, he is still a top welterweight with a title, so the fight makes sense and would elevate the Spence fight. It's a passing of the torch fight for Crawford and Pacquiao. And he's been looking for the fight since 2015. Pacquiao is, like, again, it's still a top welterweight. I was just talking to Bernie the boxer, and I told him that I have Sean Porter as number 3. He's like, whoa, I know you didn't forget about Pacquiao. And I'm like, yeah, you're kind of right, bro. You're kind of right. Pacquiao is, he is a belt holder. I can't just do him like that. So, like, yeah, Pacquiao, he is technically a top 3 welterweight still. If he didn't want to be here, he don't have to be here. Pacquiao can easily just leave. You know what I mean? And Bud and Spence will understand completely, because they both stated, and Bud stated this a while ago, that Pacquiao, he earned his right to say who he wants to fight and who he don't want to fight. And Spence just restated that, and Bud, they always say, like, they respect Pacquiao as a legend. So if Pacquiao don't want to fight, it's okay. But if Pacquiao choose to fight them, that'll be great. But I'm pretty sure the other person is going to fight Sean Porter around that time, if it does happen. But what do you think about all of this? Do you think that Bud has reached the status of one of the greatest welterweights of all time? Do you feel like Kell Brook is the same Kell Brook? Do you feel like Kell Brook, if anything, do you think that Kell Brook is one of the top welterweights, because he did fight Sean Porter and Earl Spence and even Triple G? But if you take the Triple G fight out of the equation, he fought Earl Spence and Sean Porter, and he beat Sean Porter. Just like Keith Thurman fought Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia fought Keith Thurman and Sean Porter, but he lost to both of them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I mean, he fought 2 of the top welterweights. So will Kell Brook be considered a top welterweight? And I know he was feared when he had the IBF belt. You know what I mean? So just tell me what you think about Kell Brook overall, and do you think he's still the same fighter? And if he is the same fighter, or if he's not the same fighter, do you think he's a better fighter? You know what I mean? Do you think that Bud will make a statement in this fight and show the world, the people out there who don't know about Bud really too well, that he is the number one fighter on Top Rank? Do you think that this fight will show that he's the number one fighter on Top Rank? What tricks do you think that Kell Brook offers in this fight against Bud to possibly upset Bud? What do you think that he actually has in his repertoire? You know what I mean? Do you think that Kell is the stronger fighter? Who do you think will win the Spence and Garcia fight? And who do you think is going to get Pacquiao first out of Spence and Crawford? And finally, I keep saying but finally, who do you think will win out of Crawford and Spence whenever they finally share the ring together? Let me know all of this stuff in the comment section. Until next time, guys, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, I'll be talking to you guys later. The next video you shall see should be an interview with one of Bud's homies, Bernie the Boxer. I interviewed him a little bit before, but there were some technical difficulties, and I'm already set to interview him again, so be on the lookout for that, definitely. But again, have a great day, guys. Peace.